Welcome to our farm. Today is a story of a man who is a physician, but also a farmer, but also a man who manifested his way from Bangladesh to America. This is a story about my dad. Hi, I'm Julia. This is my podcast, Should We Say This Out Loud, where I try to make really hard conversations a little bit more fun and chill so we can facilitate more conversation and learn more about the people around us. Oh my God. Wait, did you see that? Excuse me. Excuse me. Yep. Asking the tough questions out here.
Hi, I'm Nizami. I'm Julia's dad. Of course, that's my biggest introduction. And I do farming, and my main job is doctoring. I'm a gastroenterologist.
All right. What inspired you to start farming?
Good question. Start farming. Well, I always had love for animals and for nature. In my childhood, I grew up in a place in far remote in Bangladesh. Every weekend, I used to go to the deep jungle, the tropical rainforest, just watch the animal, watch the deer, watch the um, foxes, the wild Asian dogs, and I just fell in love with nature and animals. I always had little chicken here and there, little goat, and few ducks. I used to raise them with my mom, and with that, I fell in love. I never outgrew it. So, in my old age, I do the same thing.
So farming was something that started all the way back in your childhood in Bangladesh then.
Correct. Farming started all the way over there.
Wow. Is there anything else from your childhood besides farming that you think really impacted you? And then is farming something you brought with you because it's something positive from your childhood that you wanted to keep here in America?
Sure. I think, um, living a humble life with a limited resource is a great, is a great tradition I adore and I pass it on, and living a simple life. And the things that really influenced me is the value system that we grew up with. And especially my mother's influence is very high on me.
Did you always know you wanted to be a farmer, or was there something else you wanted to do when you were younger?
No, I really didn't want to do farming as a full-time thing. I knew that I have to do something, something else. And I also loved STEM field. I like
Mhm.
science, and I think science and agriculture are really very related. If you think about, if you want to take care of the animals, you have to know science, correct? If you want to take care of human beings, you have to know the science. So I kind of balance both of them together, and I see no contradiction.
How did you end up coming to America in the first place then, and then being a doctor here if you started all the way in that remote corner of Bangladesh?
Well, good story, actually, and good question. Well, America always, influenced me. I remember when I was a little child, maybe going to elementary school, as part of US propaganda, they got all of those picture like Neil Armstrong, Edwin, Aldrin. As I grew up, it influenced more and more, and actually it flourished when Bangladesh was in its war of independence in 1971, when I was 10-year old, or nine or 10-year old.
So does that mean I see online and stuff, and when I research Bangladesh history and just knowing from what you and Nana Pai and stuff have said, does that mean you're a child of 1971? And what does it mean to be a child of 1971?
Yeah, well, the first memory that I have of 1971, so the people were demonstrating, and there was non-cooperation movement, and there was like nationwide strikes, all of those things that I remember.
Mhm.
And then suddenly one day my dad came from school, and I think this was around 2 p.m., And he told my mom, he said, the scooter is coming this evening and we are leaving town.
And then what were the bad things that came to follow?
Well, uh, unknown to me at that time, the liberation war has already started. That's when the Pakistan army, they raided Dhaka, the capital, because we used to live far away. So I think I didn't know, but we used to live far away. So I think the war had started, and my dad realized that this is going to be a big civil war. And because my dad, he grew up in UP in Uttar Pradesh, and also my mom, and they realized they suffered through the breakup of India in 1947, when there was a with breakup of India and creation of Pakistan, there was a big riot. Millions of people moved from one side of the border to another side of the border. They saw riot. They saw millions of people get killed and losing everything. I think they had that fresh memory. That's why they were so prescient, I think.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of trauma to live through just in one lifetime for them.
Correct. History really, they say history will never give you a prediction of what is going to happen in future, but history does give you a wisdom, and you can explain the present and the future, or the past, by knowledge of history.
So, yeah, you said it's like almost an unbelievable journey that you're all the way here from Bangladesh. How did that even start, and how did you even learn English in the first place to travel here and come here?
Yeah, so going back to learning English, as I was telling you, both my parents, your grandma and grandfather, they both used to be teachers. And since our intelligence, since our memory developed, I always remember they always telling us, well, if you really want to earn a living, if you really want to do good in life, you learn math and English. So there was always high emphasis, and so always we always wanted to learn English in addition to our native language, which is Bangla. But in 1971, when the War of Independence was going on, there was a big I had a big opportunity of learning English without even knowing. And this is how it started, because in 1971, when the War of Independence broke out, ultimately everything stopped, communication stopped. There was no newspaper. At that time, people used to get news only from newspaper and radio. We didn't have any television when we grew up. At that time, there was no television. So, but people were hungry for news, correct? During the wartime, people want to know what's going on and really what's the news. And they knew that Pakistan media is not going to give them the right news, only one-sided news. So people were hungry. People used to tune to BBC, Bangla service, BBC, British Broadcasting Systems Corporation, and VOA, Voice of America. And I still remember BBC used to broadcast Bengali program at 8:45, and Voice of America used to broadcast the Bengali program or Bangla program at 10 p.m. at night.
Oh, wow.
And we happened to have a shortwave radio. They used to be shortwave broadcast. And we used to have a Philips radio, a 3-band radio, and that was the luxury. And can you imagine, that radio was given to your grandmother by her oldest brother, who was trained by U.S. Navy, and he was in Connecticut, U.S. Navy Academy. And so when he went back, he got this present for his sister. So when we escaped the town and we came to our ancestral village, we became basically internally displaced refugees. We brought this radio with us because, radio is like, it's an expensive thing. There will be a big gathering of people in the background of darkness, and some of them will smoke, and their cigarette butt will light up like a bright red light. And they would listen to the radio, and then adults will discuss, oh, all of these bad things are happening, people are dying, or this city fell, or that city fell. Mm-hmm. And at 10 p.m., the same thing. But something about this radio, these warped voices in radio, gave me almost like a feeling of aura, like, oh, I don't know what's going on around the world, like how all of these radio waves coming to my little transistor radio and people are listening to all of this stuff. It like, radio used to put me in an aura. And then as I dialed in different station, I hear so many different kind of signals and so many different kind of languages, so many different kind of songs. I always wondered, is it Chinese? Is it Vietnamese? Is it, I mean, English, but I could understand, I mean, that it is English. I still didn't understand English sentences, but I knew by words that this is English. And so when people used to leave after listening to the Bangla broadcast, I will still keep on dialing the radio, listening to different languages, different signals. And sometimes they will be just like, whistling noise. And I heard that spies communicate through shortwave radios and sheeps communicate through shortwave radio. All of these things, I will try to listen to it. And as I said, it will send me to an aura. As the time went by, of course, I soon realized, I said, the British has really no power. The British are really second-rated power. There is no reason to listen to BBC. If I have to learn English, I'm going to learn the American English. And the main power, the superpower. I was also real proud that America is the only nation that militarily defeated the British. So which I felt kind of revenge for me because we were British colony. So
Yeah.
I was completely in love with America. So I started listening to American English. While I really believe that my English, my American English gave me an American visa to come to United States.